Okay, so we're going to go ahead and paper mache. There are a few things that I want you to make sure that you look at before you get started. Anything that's like this where you can actually peel a piece of paper up from the rest of it would be a good thing to make sure that you have taped over. Okay, let's put all the tape dispensers down, all the projects down. I can hear you. Okay, so I've checked that place. I would do the same thing with like this part up here too, where that's got an area that would peel up, and the same thing here. The thing about the paper mache is the paper mache is just a coating. The paper mache is not strong. It can't stick anything and keep anything in a certain place. Okay, it's just a coating. Okay, so you're going to make sure that this is covered and just go through and check. So most of these are okay. Maybe that piece there. But I'll make sure that I look at everything before you get started. Probably over here where you can see into that part. So you're just trying to cover everything up and get everything like solid. And like this part here, like I can see like the wire. So same thing right here. Okay, that sounds good. Hey, yeah, hang tight. No worries. Yeah. Okay, so I've got that taped. I'm going to go ahead and get the paper mache on here. And so I'm going to grab just a sheet of newspaper. We're going to tear this instead of... Oh, thank you. That's very sweet of you. We're going to go ahead and tear this instead of cutting it. And it tears really well vertically. And so if you look, like it will just tear down and you have quick pieces this way. Okay, it's going to tear really well that direction, but not tear very well the other direction. Okay, so you should only tear enough that you plan on using today. Okay, I don't need like mountains of this at your table. Okay, so once you get to this part, this is easier to work with if you can cut this in half. You have some pieces that are bigger, some pieces that are smaller, and so this would cover a larger area of your animal and this would cover a smaller. Okay, so same thing. I wouldn't try and work with pieces like this and try and like wrap them around. This is just going to be too complicated. It's a lot easier to work with things that are short, so you can just put them on and wrap them around once. Okay, so this will work for this part. I would get just a little bit of this torn. It's harder to tear this when your hands have the paper mache glue on them. So I'm going to go ahead and use the glue. I'm just going to put this strip inside this. You're going to get way more than you need, but that's okay because then you can pick up another piece and you still have some on your hands. Okay, so you would just coat this, and our goal is to crisscross this like back and forth and smooth this out. You want to try and avoid, watch what this does. Some people change the shape of their animal because they do things like this. They leave like this section here and they might smooth it out part of the way, but now the animal's bigger than what it was. Okay, so you want to make sure that it's tight to the form. If that happens, really, you could just press this over and smush that down. But lots of different directions. You can put layer after layer on top. You don't have to wait for this layer to dry. Okay, so you just continue to put layers. We're going to do 4 layers of this. And you're just going to keep adding them on, and then we're going to do a layer, well, 2 layers of the newsprint, which is different than the newspaper, because if you look at the newsprint, this is like newspaper, but it doesn't have any printing on it. And so what this does is, instead of putting all these layers, like 6 layers of newspaper on here, we put 2 layers of this, so then we don't have to paint as much later. This will give you like a solid, like blank canvas, where this will take a long time to like paint over this with yellow paint or orange or red, or, I mean, it's really hard to get it to cover up. Okay, so that's what we're going to continue to do. The small places, I know this is funny, but I see people do this. If you have smaller pieces like these antennas, I would use smaller pieces here. I wouldn't try and put this piece around it. Okay, I would use a smaller section, coat that, and then use this to wrap. Okay.